There is a dangerous mindset, quiet, subtle, almost invisible, yet powerful enough to shape how we see others and ourselves. It's the belief, it could never be me. It doesn't always sound arrogant. Sometimes it whispers, I would never make that mistake. I'd never end up in that situation. I'm stronger than that. I'm wiser than that. And from a distance, it feels true. From the safety of the shore, it's easy to analyze the drowning man. It's easy to critique his movements, to question his decisions, to laugh at his struggle. Because from where you're standing, you've never felt the current pull at your legs. You've never felt the panic of losing control. You've never gasped for breath while the waters rise. So you assume you would do better. But life has a way of humbling every observer. The same river you mock today may be the one you're forced to cross tomorrow. The same storm you judge from a distance may one day form directly over your life. And suddenly, everything changes. Because trials have a way of stripping away illusions. They expose how fragile we really are. They reveal how limited our control truly is. And in those moments, you don't need judgment. You need mercy. It's easy to be confident in calm seasons. When your relationships are healthy, your finances are stable, your mind is clear, your choices are working, you can begin to believe your life is the result of pure discipline and strength. But what happens when the variables change? When pressure increases, when loss enters, when temptation intensifies, when exhaustion sets in, when life hits you in a way you didn't prepare for? Suddenly, the lines you thought you'd never cross don't look so distant anymore. The decisions you judged start to make uncomfortable sense. And the people you once criticized become reflections of what you could be under different circumstances. This is where wisdom begins. Not in knowing everything, but in recognizing how much you don't control. Not in standing above others, but in understanding how easily roles can reverse. Because the truth is, no one is exempt from trials. Not the strong, not the disciplined, not the experienced. Life does not hand out exemptions based on confidence. There are people who once said, I would never fall into addiction until pain drove them to find escape. There are people who said, I would never stay in a toxic relationship until loneliness made dysfunction feel like comfort. There are people who said, I would never compromise my values until pressure made compromise feel like survival. And when it happens, it doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual, a slow drift, a quiet erosion, a series of small decisions made under weight you never understood before. That's why this message isn't just about kindness, it's about wisdom. Because wisdom understands something pride refuses to accept. You are not above the storm. You are simply in a season where it hasn't reached you yet. And if you don't develop humility now, life will teach it to you later. So instead of saying, it could never be me, wisdom says, by the grace of God, I am where I am. Wisdom says, if I were in their exact situation, with their pressures, their wounds, their history, who's to say I would choose differently? That perspective changes everything. It changes how you see people. Instead of judging quickly, you pause. Instead of condemning, you consider. Instead of distancing yourself, you develop compassion. Because now you understand something deeper. Every person you see struggling is fighting a battle you don't fully understand. And one day, you may need that same understanding. Life has a way of leveling us, not to destroy us, but to teach us, to strip away arrogance, to remove false confidence, to replace judgment with empathy, because empathy is born from awareness, the awareness that I am human too, that I am capable of weakness, that I am capable of failure, that I am capable of making decisions I once judged in others. And that realization doesn't make you weaker, it makes you wiser, because now you move differently. You guard your heart more carefully. You stay humble in your success. You stay compassionate in your strength. You stop laughing at people in deep waters. Because you understand something now, depth reveals what the shore never could. And here's the reality most people don't like to admit. Some lessons can only be learned in the storm. Not from observation, not from distance, but from experience. And when you've been there, when you felt the pressure, when you faced the struggle, when you've had to fight just to stay afloat, you come out different. You speak softer, you judge less, you understand more. Because now you know it could have been you. And maybe in some area of your life, it already has been. That quiet struggle no one saw. That moment you almost gave in. That season where you barely held it together. You remember. And that memory becomes your teacher. So instead of looking at others with superiority, you begin to see them with grace. You realize people don't always need your criticism, they need your compassion. They don't always need your opinion, they need your understanding. Because life is unpredictable. Situations change. Strength fluctuates. Circumstances shift. And none of us are as untouchable as we sometimes believe. So the next time you're tempted to say, "It could never be me," pause, reflect, and remember, the river you mock today may be the one you're called to cross tomorrow. And when that day comes, you won't be looking for judgment. You'll be hoping for grace. So give it now, while you're still on the shore, because wisdom isn't proven by how you stand above others, but by how you respond when you realize you're not so far from them after all. So stay humble, stay aware, stay compassionate. Because life has a way of reminding all of us we're closer to each other's struggles than we think. If this message encouraged you, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with someone who needs hope today. And remember, Faith has never been reasonable in the eyes of the world, but God has always honored obedience.